Well, welcome once again to the No Nonsense Roundtable here every Saturday on News Radio WHAM 1180. And I'm your host, as always, Dom Genova. And today's show is a special show, kind of in the spirit of the weekend, which is Labor Day. And I have a very interesting individual across the desk from me, and it's Grant Malone. And Grant, I'm going to let you introduce yourself because you have a couple of different titles.
Thank you, Dom. First off, it's a pleasure to be here with you to get this message out. I am the current district manager of the operating engineers here in Rochester, 158, and I'm also the president of the Rochester Building Trades Council. We represent 18 different construction trades in central and upstate New York.
And we have a pretty good agenda for everybody to listen to today because we have a message that needs to go out to to young people and people who influence young people, and it's about the trades, about unions, and I look at it as a cause that I think people need to know about, learn about, and be educated about, because there are so many jobs that are available in the trades, good jobs, good paying jobs. You don't necessarily have to go to college to have a great life. And those are the things we're going to be talking about today, because the union thing is evolved over the years as business has. And it's a wonderful thing to talk about. So let's start. Now, what was your path in life? How did you get to do what you're doing?
Well, my path in life was... I'm a Rochester native, graduated high school, went in the Air Force for 4 years. Great opportunity. Came home, was looking for a job and a career. Fortunately for me, I ran across the operating engineers. I joined the local as a mechanic on heavy equipment. Did that for a few years. Decided I wanted to progress my career. Ran equipment, became a New York State licensed crane operator. Mm-hmm. For 18 years from there, which is a great opportunity to meet people and provide for my family. From then, I was offered an opportunity to run for a position at the Union Hall, where I am today. That was 18 years ago. Now I've progressed to the manager position, and also, like I commented before, the president of the building trade. So again, Dom, I'm very appreciative, very proud, and very fortunate to be where I am.
Well, we were talking before the show about union and business. And I remember as a young man working for Chrysler back in the late 70s, getting a tour of an assembly plant. And quite frankly, it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. I mean, it was dark, it was greasy, it was noisy. There were workers that were on drugs because they had no other choice. It was such a miserable operation back then for anybody in the automotive business. It wasn't just Chrysler, and the unions most naturally had a very tough task because management really wasn't all that concerned as long as they had the workers working, and it was a very adversarial relationship. And since then, it's evolved quite a bit. I mean, unions and businesses are getting along with some mutual respect that they didn't have years ago. Everybody realizes that you're in the same boat. That's what I'm starting to see. And nobody ever that bought something thought they bought it cheap enough, and nobody ever sold something thought they sold it for enough money. So you always want to make more money as an employee, and business always wants to get you a little bit cheaper than that. But the relationship has changed over these 40 years, and it's not the same way it used to be.
No, Dom, you're 100% correct. The relationship between an organized union and a management situation has evolved to the points you just made because of the need. It's especially today with the skilled trade shortage that we're experiencing. The management, and when I say management in our world, contractors realize they need skilled labor to be there every day to do the work. We work hand in hand with our management, our contractors. Again, and I'm very proud to say that with this evolution, these relationships have gotten stronger and stronger and stronger. And it's on both sides. We need the contractors to put our members to work, but they need our workers to perform the work so they can be successful.
And unions really, there's kind of really two silos with this. There's the big unions like the auto workers and big plants and whatever like that. And then you're talking about union jobs here that are to local businesses. And just name some of the businesses.
Some of the contractor bases, we've all heard of LaChase Construction. We affiliate with them. We have a large contingency at University of Rochester with our stationary charter, which is facility maintenance individuals. We have many other contractors you see on that do all the heavy highway work, road work, building work. I could go on and on about the contractor base. I believe my local 158 has over 90 contractors just in New York State alone.
Wow.
Yeah,
and it's got to be a number of different opportunities in different types of trades. Name some of the trades that besides construction.
The trades that we represent in the council, whether it's iron workers, masons, glazers, which is glass, elevator constructors, insulators, electricians, carpenters. I mean, they're all part of what we do in the construction industry.
And correct me if I'm wrong. There are businesses that need workers in all of these things, and they're kind of going wanting right now for younger people, right?
No, there's no doubt with what we're seeing in our country with the infrastructure opportunities that we're being presented. There is a serious skilled trade shortage today, and it's only going to get worse. That's why we are here today to try to get the word out that this is a great opportunity that hasn't been promoted, to be honest with you.
Well, we're about ready to head into a break in another minute or two, but this brings up the whole idea about your path in life, the American dream, how to get there, what you need to consider, the college, no college, and the idea of and the word I use all the time is marketable skill. And where do you get a marketable skill, and how do you get that marketable skill? And the president just announced this $10,000 for people that have gone to college or whatever. But just because you go to college doesn't mean you have a quote unquote marketable skill, and that's something I say all the time on this show.
No, there's no doubt. That's what we offer. We offer a marketable skill that you can join an apprenticeship program with one of our trades and complete that program with a skill for the rest of your life with no debt. And you mentioned the American dream. The unions are part of the American dream. Without the organized labor, we created the middle class. People need to understand that.
And not to denigrate anybody who's not a union member, but union members, you have a certain quality to the work that you do.
Oh, there's no doubt. We take a lot of pride in what we do. Again, whether it's you're working on a road project or a building project, it's nice. In my case, I can drive around the city of Rochester, and I can see projects that I participated in. Yeah, I can tell my kids and my grandkids, hey, I worked on that building. I helped put that bridge together. You want to talk about pride? That's pride.
Right, and you probably never worked in a cubicle.
Never. That wasn't for me, Tom. No. And I knew that when I was in high school. I was going to be an outside worker. I wanted to be in construction, and that's the goal that I had, and I took that path.
And with that, we're going to take a break, and we'll see you right on the other side. Well, welcome back. You're listening to the No Nonsense Roundtable. This Labor Day weekend, we're here with Grant Malone. Pretty good guy, and he's the head of a union here in Rochester. And we were talking about life old told in the American dream. We don't talk about the American dream so much anymore, but it's still there and people are striving for it. So what's the American dream for you?
So what is the American dream? I think it's different for everybody, Dom, to be honest with you. Whether you want to be the president of the United States, or you want to provide for your family, buy a home, put your kids through college and see them be successful. To me, that's the American dream. I think it changes depending on what your background is and what your goals are in life.
Well, I think that when you're talking about jobs in the trades, I think my personal opinion is that there seems to be some type of lack of encouragement by people to point this out to especially younger people. If I was to define this in purely, I'm a little bit of a marketing guy, okay? This is a marketing term, is that we are looking at jobs in the trades and we're saying, well, if you can't do that, you might be able to do a trade. Rather than saying, you should look at this as something that is alternative and is as good, if not better, than having a college degree and the debt that's accumulated with that, because you can have two things. You can have a very pleasing lifestyle because you're not stuck in a cube, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct.
And you can have a job where a lot of these jobs, I mean, there are people waiting in line to hire you, right?
Mm-hmm. Correct. Depending on the time of year, yes. Again, to your point, college isn't for everybody. This is a very viable option for the young people and middle-aged people that want a career. I don't necessarily say we offer jobs. We offer careers, because these are very viable careers with health care benefits and a retirement plan that you can retire with dignity and support your family for the rest of your life.
When you say that, the educational system is kind of stacked against you a little bit, I mean, I know that high schools in particular, you get judged about how many kids, quote unquote, go to college. And I always thought that the better determination of this is that after being out of school for 5 years, do you have a job, right?
Correct.
Because that's not necessarily the path, and that's not necessarily the path for you if you like I said, if you want a job that has a certain pleasant atmosphere to it, or you want to be outside, or you want to have a little flexibility to your day and some security, right?
Correct. Again, to your point, my experience has been that at the high school level, the trades are not promoted like they should be. Again, we made the comment that the high schools push individuals and students to go to college because that's how they get their funding to keep the school moving. And my experience with counselors is we need to promote what we offer, because this is just as good as college or better. To your point, you can join a 4-year apprenticeship program with a trade, come out of that apprenticeship program with a marketable skill, mm-hmm. and provide for your family with no college debt.
Right.
What an opportunity. And that's why we're here today, to let people know that this is a very, very important option for the young people today.
Well, I think it was important for our listeners, because our listeners are primarily, older. I mean, they're over 35, okay. 50, and if they, it's probably not too many people that are in this position. It's people that are going to be influencing people in this position. It's going to be the kids or the grandkids, and the option or the idea that you can have this great job, honorable lifestyle, not be stuck in a situation where you're in a cubicle all day long, and your boss is on you. You're on the phone trying to sell something. Is a pretty good alternative, and it should be presented as, to me, it should be as equally presented to a young person as the ability to go to college.
No, agreed. Again, the option college or skilled trades, and to your point, the demographics of what we're seeing right now is the average age in the skilled trades in the Rochester area is between 50 and 58. So as the baby boomers push through, this skilled trade shortage is going to get worse. Mm-hmm. And that's going to affect everybody in the environment here to keep our infrastructure where it should be, as far as roads and bridges and buildings, and that's just one part of infrastructure. When I say infrastructure, also, what about utility lines? What about water services? What about electric service? We know there's electric grid problem. Without the manpower to upgrade these systems, we're in a tough spot, I'll be honest with you. So again, I just want to emphasize the importance of what we offer. We don't offer jobs, we offer careers.
Yeah, and the thought is that you set yourself in a position in your life, and you imagine yourself later on and where you're going to be. Now, a job in the trades, your electrician is not going to be outsourced to China.
Correct. We say that all the time. You can't outsource construction. Again, so that's why the importance is to get the manpower available and offer these opportunities so we can grow this country.
Well, the other thing that I take a look at, when I was a young man, I thought I wanted to be an engineer, which I never became, and Thank God. I didn't have the skill for it. But I remember working on a surveying crew when I was in college. And you're outdoors, and you're with your bunch of guys, your team, and you're in different situations. And the weather's nice and the weather's bad, and but you're not stuck in one place. You're always doing something. And the thing about construction too, not to get really philosophical, but there's something there. That's there now because you did what you did. I'm sure you've taken a look at buildings and work you've done. You say, hey, I helped build that, right?
That's exactly right. And that where the pride comes in, to drive around. I commented before. Again, I also want to comment, the importance of what we do, whether it's construction or any other trade. If you're not an outdoors person, this is not for you. Mm-hmm. To your point,
right? Because
you will be in the elements.
Yeah.
There's going to be days when it's raining. You're going to be working. There's going to be snow on the ground. You're going to be dirty from the mud. Again, but a person like myself that wasn't going to get stuck in a cubicle, this is a very viable option. No doubt about it.
I'm laughing because, when I was working for Chrysler one day, I got yelled at for unwrapping cheese balls. I have a minute to tell this story, but it's actually true. So there was the Dodge Open. I was given the opportunity of setting up the hospitality suite, and my boss yelled at me because I unwrapped the cheese balls. Those big, things about the size of a snowball, because the vice president wouldn't know the flavor of the cheese ball.
Wow. Well, again, I guess my comment there will be somebody has to do that, Don. I'm glad you took care of that.
No. I said, Fred, we lost $1.5 billion last year. Maybe we're spending too much time on the cheese balls.
Well, there you go.
And when you work in construction, I think people are a little more practical than that, don't you think?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Again, I'll use the analogy of, and we see it all the time on a road construction project. I want to emphasize what's going through your mind when you're on a project. Okay, you're in live traffic.
Yeah.
Just when you're driving down the road, be aware of the individuals that are doing that work, because they're focused on 4 different things and they got to worry about the car coming up behind them. Just want to make that comment.
Well, we are going into a news break, and before the news break, there's going to be a little message here from Don Eilhart and the Rotary Sunshine Camp.
It's a magical place for kids of all abilities.
A big thank you to Wickham Farms for supporting
the Rochester Rotary Sunshine Camp.
We hope you enjoyed the Sunshine Camp Corn Maze and the special candy cannon. What a blast for a very special camp
where kids have no barriers to fun. The Rochester Rotary Sunshine Camp.
Now, welcome back. You're listening to the No Nonsense Roundtable. I'm Dom Genevieve, your host, and I want to remind everybody that prior shows can be heard on the NoNonsenseRoundtable.com site. You can download them as iHeart Podcasts or YouTubes, whatever you want to do. And we're here today on this Labor Day weekend with Grant Malone, head of a union here in Rochester, and we were talking about the Rotary Sunshine Camp, and Nita and I had a tour of it a few months ago, and it's really extraordinary. And we were saying that your organization people, union people, have done a lot of work at the Sunshine Camp, which is congratulations and thank you.
Thank you for that. Again, for the people that don't know, the Rochester Building Trades and Construction Council has played a very large role in that camp. We have donated numerous hours of apprentices, journey level construction workers, retirees, contractors donating their time, their equipment, their materials to do quite a few of the major projects that you've seen at that camp, along with our relationship with the Rochester Rotary. Mm-hmm. So again, we're very, very involved in that. We have a fundraiser every year. Again, we support that program for all the people in the Rochester area.
So we were talking about the opportunity for jobs in construction and the trades. And I think what we're trying to do with the show is just shed a light on the concept that the trades should be considered by young people in the same with the same intensity or same light that going to college should be considered, because it's alternative. It's not worse. It's just an alternative. I mean, and not every alternative is worse than than something else. And there are opportunities, and there's money to be had, and the American dream to be realized.
Yeah, there's never been a better time than right now to get into a skilled trade. For comments we've made in the past. Again, the American dream, let's go back to that. Getting into a skilled trade and being successful, completing an apprenticeship program, and then getting a job, you can provide for your family, again, with no college debt. Again, I think I would use the analogy, I think back in the day, to your comment earlier, were you looked down if you were a construction worker? Maybe you were. Those days are gone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, these are very successful careers, and I like to use the word career because it is a career.
Well, it's garnering appreciation from people and respect. I mean, there was a point in time when you said, "Well, yeah, I was, and you're doing such and such. I guess you couldn't go to college."
Right?
No, that's not it. It's an alternative, and I really do have to be honest. A lot of what I learned in my life, I learned outside of college. I learned some concepts in college. There's some things that you need to know. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. What's important, what's not important to people, and whatever. But the I didn't really need to learn the calculus equation to do a regression analysis. I mean, I'm sitting through class doing, it's like, what does this have to do with anything? I never put a pen in a piece of paper to a regression analysis and I was terrible with that stuff to begin with. But the practical stuff, I mean, you're learning stuff that you're learning things that have an application to them. I mean, and the other thing about college, quite frankly, and is that we tell our children, well, you can do whatever you want to do. Well, no, it's like my expression. I know I'm kind of editorializing here, but not everybody that plays the piano can make music.
No, correct. Again, there's an aptitude part of this conversation that people need to understand. Everybody can't be a construction worker, but if I can comment on what I learned in the construction industry, number one is how to get along with people. How to survive in the world, life skills like that, a work ethic, get to work every day, take pride in what you do. And you can take that wherever you go in life. Again.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
Well, and the thing, I know we're repeating ourselves with some of the stuff. The thing is that if you're working in construction for this company, you're competent and you want to change to another company, there's somebody looking for you.
No, there's no doubt about it, and that's where we come in. The structure right now is as a labor union. When you have a signatory list of contractors, as their needs increase or decrease, they have the availability to call a union, and if they need to expand their workforce 10 or 12, they can do that by picking up the telephone. And then when they're done with them, they send them back to the union hall with no obligation, and we put them to work somewhere else. That's the advantage of one of the things that we do, Dom, to be honest with you.
And the thing about college, not to degrade college, obviously, but there's some majors in college that are very, very hard to get a job for. I mean, I take a look at the kids going for sports marketing. Okay, great career, great job. But it's like being a big league ball player. You don't want to discourage your child from trying to be a big league ball player, but you have to have a clear and untrammeled view that your probability of being a big league ball player is pretty small.
Correct.
So you have to have an alternative to that. You have to have a fallback position to getting a job in certain degrees. Where if you're in construction, it's pretty clear. If you're a plumber, electrician, whatever, there's a job waiting for you, and there will always be a job waiting for you because we may get rid of electric cars, but we're not getting rid of electric wires.
No, you're 100% right. There's no doubt that the demand is there. If you have the will to succeed, we're here to help you. Please.
Well, and you have a lot of different training programs and whatever. So, I mean, let's do a little retail. Let's talk about these things that if somebody is interested, what's the path?
Okay, every organized labor construction union in Rochester, and not just Rochester, in the United States, has an apprenticeship program. And it varies between 4 to 5 years in length. Anybody can go on the computer. You can Google the Rochester Building Trades Council. You can Google heavy equipment operators. You can Google electricians, and it will come up. Very simple. That we all have websites. It's very simple to get connected and pick up the phone and call somebody to get you on that path.
And a lot of these programs, you get these apprenticeships, it's no cost, right?
No cost at all. No, the only cost is, I will say, initially when you first come in, there may be when you first get started, because I can only speak for my apprenticeship program. You don't get paid while you're in school, so there is a little cost that we try to offset as far as fuel to get to your training sites, depending on where they are. But as far as in the program itself, Dom, there's no cost. We supply all the equipment, all the tooling, all the instructors, and all the materials.
Now, do you get asked to speak at career days in high schools and
Yes,
stuff?
we do. We attend many career days. And Monroe County has an annual career day, which will be in October this year, that we bring students in from the city school districts, and all the trades are there to get them exposed to what we're talking about today.
When you go to one of these things, do you get the feeling from a lot of people there that they steer young people to the trades as an alternative rather than an equal opportunity with going to college?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I think the college has been promoted way above the skilled trades to this point. That's why we're trying to change that mindset, so to speak.
Well, and the thing is the is the desirability and the attractiveness of the job itself. I think it needs to be communicated better to young people too.
Well, you talk about attractivity. That's a hard subject, because it's not really attractive sometimes. I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, not for everybody.
Not for everybody, right? You're outside. You're in the elements. That's one of the key things I want to make the point of.
Yeah. Well, we're heading into another break, but we're going to talk more about that, the actual scope of the jobs and the environment that you're working in. So we'll hear this right after this. Well, welcome back. It's Labor Day weekend, and we're talking to Grant Malone, head of a very prestigious union here in Rochester, and we're talking about the opportunities for people, young people, to get involved in the trades and have, a path to the American dream that should be considered, in my mind, equal to going to college, if not more, because your lifestyle is a little bit different, and like I always say, you're not working in a cubicle, and you might have a little challenges with your environment or weather, but that's a lot better than having your boss looking down at you all the time and being stuck someplace with no windows.
No, 100%, Dom, 100%. There's no doubt that this is definitely a viable choice to college. And I can speak for myself. I have worked side by side with individuals in the construction industry that have college degrees, but that wasn't a marketable skill. And they came to the trades because of the wages and the benefits.
Well, you take a look at somebody. I mean, what's the most sophisticated job? Is it an electrician, or I mean, what is the most? I know, like diesel mechanic is very, very, very technically oriented. You have to be as skilled as anybody's going to college for a degree.
I would have to say that all the trades have a certain level of skill depending on the project that you're on. Bias myself, being a licensed crane operator, that takes a bit of skill and a lot of time to get to that point. So not to disenfranchise any other trade, I think they all have their own entities and their own skill levels and their own technical needs to get the projects done.
What, maybe this is a kind of a strange question, what takes the most math?
I would have to say, and don't quote me on this, it would either be maybe the pipe fitter or the sheet metal worker.
Really?
Yes, I believe, and I could be wrong, Dom. I mean, again, those aren't my trades. Yeah,
well, I'm just trying to educate myself, because I wouldn't have thought that. I would have thought that well, of course, a diesel mechanic, and that takes a lot.
Well, again, the sheet metal worker, I believe, because there's a lot of geometry involved in when you're trying to conform a sheet metal and the angles that are involved in that. So I do know that their apprenticeship programs, there is a math part of that process to get into that program. I'm coming with this thought, this idea. You're educating me, because you go to college and you get a lot of education. I took a lot of statistics in college, 1, 2, 3, econometrics and whatever, and I never used it for anything. So if I had a math skill like that and I used it for geometry to
do some type of construction of something or other. At least at the end of the day, there was something that existed that didn't exist before, which would have been a little more rewarding than having known how to do the regression analysis for a whatever project that I had to do using calculus, which I know how to do, by the way, and I've never used it.
No, that's a great point. Again, speaking as a whole, there are many different facets to the different trades and their requirements of their apprenticeship programs.
So let's do more. Let's do more retail. I mean, benefits.
Benefits. That's a
look at the light in your eyes.
Well, again, people don't understand it, and I think people don't appreciate benefits, healthcare benefits, prescription plans, eyeglasses, hearing aids. Let's talk about retirement. Let's talk about pension funds. Let's talk about the difference between a defined benefit pension plan and a 401k.
Right, go ahead.
Okay. A 401k is great. It's a great option. The difference between the average 401k plan today and a defined benefit pension plan, which most of the organized labor organizations offer, is, let's say you accumulate $500,000 in your 401k, Dom, and you live, how long are you going to live? Who knows? You get to be 75 years old, and those monies are gone. Now what do you do?
Right.
In a defined benefit pension plan, whatever amount you've accrued during your career, you will receive that as long as you are alive, and your wife can get a portion of that after you're gone. Think about that for a minute.
No,
that's a huge benefit.
No, that's a very, very good point. I'm smiling because I'm the benefit of what you're talking about. Now, I quit Chrysler in 1994. Okay, I was vested. They pay me $600 a month.
Okay.
Even though I quit the company in 1994, but it's exactly what you're talking about. They couldn't take that away from me.
No, because that's an earned benefit that you personally earned.
Right.
You're 100% right.
Right. So, I mean, even though they changed businesses, they went bankrupt, they got whatever. They couldn't take that away, and that was security. Now it's not that much money because I was working, like I said, in 1994. But they've been paying me that for I don't know 8 years or something like that. It's kind of cool. But that is the security of having that is absolutely a great point.
No, there's no doubt about it. There's individuals that are in the skilled trades, depending on how many years you spend in. I have retirees that retire from my trade that are going to make almost as much as they're making when they're working when they retire, Dom. How many people can say that today?
No, and they can't take it away from you.
And you can't take it away.
And you're exactly right about that 401k. The 401k, you can put it in there, and it could be worth nothing. It's like the stock market. I tell people it's like Enron stock, right? I mean, all the people that had money in Enron stock and it's now worth nothing. Now, how do people get in touch with you? A website or
again, if you're interested in the skilled trades, Google Rochester Building Trades Council. If you want to be an electrician, Google Electricians Union in Rochester, any trade, and it will come up. Click on the link, and trust me, it's all right there for you. There's a phone number, there's a website. Every trade has a website.
Well, and I think the message from this show, if I would be bold enough to say this, is that the listeners that we have for our show, there's not that many 20-year-olds listening to the No Nonsense Roundtable or Wham on Saturday mornings. But there are parents and their grandparents, and they're concerned for their children's well-being and the amount of debt that they have. And my suggestion, I think you would concur with this, is to take another look at the trades, unions, the jobs that are provided. And when your child is taking a look at what path to take in life, look at this and give it hard consideration, because this does solve an awful lot of different issues, problems, opportunities that you're going to face, right?
No, Dom, I couldn't disagree. If you're a grandparent or a parent and you're listening to this show, when you're encouraging your siblings or your grandchildren what they want to do, please, to your point, Dom, take a look at the skilled trades. It's a great opportunity. Not everybody goes to college. I did a career fair a couple weeks ago with about 30 7th and 8th graders, and I went in the room and I asked how many were going to go to college. About half of them raised their hand. The other half I said, so what are your plans? I had a poster of all 18 trades. This is an option for you. and their parents were in the room. They came in to me after the meeting. Grant, are you serious? These are definitely great opportunities. College isn't for everybody, Dom, and this is a great opportunity that we need to get the word out. No doubt about it.
Well, and the thing is that the lifestyle is completely different than other things you can do. And the other thing is that if you're talking about the probability of success, is determined very early in your life, and there are a lot of people that have gotten degrees in things that they can't get a job in or very easily get a job in, and they have an awful lot of debt, and they find themselves in this trap that would put children in for a long time. Not all children, but some children, and this is a great alternative to have, the American dream.
Definitely. This is a very strong path to that American dream.
So Labor Day, what's your plan for Labor Day?
Well, for the people that'll be downtown, the Rochester Trades Council will be marching in the parade, first off. And then from there, I don't have any plans. I had a new grandson born last weekend.
God bless you.
So we may get together with my grandchildren and maybe have a barbecue. I'm really not sure.
Well, thanks for coming on the show. We're going to have you again, and all the success to you. And I believe in your charge and what you're doing, and God bless you for doing it. So until next week, it's the No Nonsense Roundtable, 10 to 11, right here on News Radio Wham 1180. Well, thanks for watching this YouTube. If you liked it, please like and share.